Are the Cowboys still the favorites in the NFC East right now?
Yes, they are, and it kills me to say that. I want to sit here and tell you the New York Football Giants, the defense is excellent, and obviously the pickup of Brandon Marshall, even though they're already good at receiver, makes them probably the best in the NFL at receiver. Here's the problem with the Giants. They have still not addressed their offensive line. And ultimately, it's hard to imagine the Cowboys' secondary being even worse. But even if it is slightly worse, and the defense is slightly worse, as I mentioned, they're a ball control offense, probably the best offensive line in the game, great running back, excellent quarterback. That's how they win. Though the Giants match up well with them, they don't match up well with the rest of the NFC compared to the Cowboys. Here's the Giants' offensive line right now. They signed T.J. Fluker, who's been a bust so far. That's why he was available. If they put him at right guard and move Eric Flowers to right tackle, Richburg and Pugh are good at center and left guard. They still need a left tackle. Clady is available, I guess, still, but he can't stay on the field. Very difficult to find a left tackle in the draft who's ready to play now. So it's and that's assuming that Flowers can play right tackle and Fluker can be pretty good because he's so big and he has untapped potential. The Giants' offensive line was their Achilles heel last year, and they still haven't addressed it. So it's the Cowboys still number one by a little bit less than they were.
Max is the only dude on the planet Earth that I know that would sit up there and say that the Dallas Cowboys are the favorite, and I can't remember a damn thing he said about the Cowboys because he spent the whole damn time talking about the Giants. Let me be very, very clear. The New York Giants are the favorites in the NFC East. Why?
Buddy.
Because when you look at a quarterback in Eli Manning who hasn't missed a start in 12 years, and you combine that with the wide-out weapons that we have, somebody that Max Kellerman calls one of the top 3 receivers in the world, which I don't think we can disagree with an Odell Beckham Jr. You combine that with Sterling Shepard, and then you go and you add Brandon Marshall. Of course, they got to buffer their offensive line. But this is the NFC East we're talking about here, and I'll defer to Ryan in this regard, who, for some inexplicable reason, decided to tarnish his career by becoming a Redskin. I don't ever understand why he would do such a thing, but that's a subject for another day.
I was a Redskin first, Stephen A.
Whatever. The point that I'm trying to make is you would know about the NFC East, so I'm going to defer to you, but I will say this. I'm looking at the Redskins, question marks about Cousins because of how they handled him and whether or not he's going to really want to be there, even though he's going to be there because he signed that franchise tag. Deshaun Jackson's gone. Pierre Garçon is gone. You've got to wonder about Jordan Reed, Matt Jones. You got to wonder about Doxson and Crowder and these boys, even though I like Crowder a lot. But the rest of their receiving core is a question mark along with their defense. I'm looking at the Eagles. I like what they did with Alshon Jeffrey. I get all of that, but there's still too many question marks. When I look at the Dallas Cowboys, damn it, they're the Cowboys. They're an accident. I look at the New York Giants, and I'm thinking about the potency of their offense and the reliability of their quarterback and a much improved defense. I think that obviously you got to modify some things with your offensive line, but in the end, that's not enough to offset the receiving weapons that they have. I think that will be enough in a tough NFC East to give the edge to the New York Giants as the favorites in that division.
Well, for me, Brandon Marshall, the pickup was huge because now it takes some of that pressure off of Odell. If you looked at this team's in times of trial, when you needed a big play, it seemed like the only person on the team that they trusted was Odell Beckham Jr. But also, even with all that firepower, I thought Sterling Shepard was a good player last year. He'll be even better this year. You add Brandon Marshall. You have to get a running game. You have to protect the quarterback. So to me, it still is the Dallas Cowboys that's the team to beat in the NFC East because they're the same team. We talked all earlier of this show about how the defense didn't stop anybody, how you could pass for a ton of yards. So for all intents and purposes, they haven't improved there, but that wasn't why they won. They won because of that rushing attack, because you had a quarterback who protected the ball. Oh, by the way, he has another year of experience. He's going into his second year with an offseason to learn more things. I think this offense will be even better in Dallas next year, and they will find some pieces to have some things on defense to get enough stops, to win enough games, to win the NFC East. I still think the New York Giants are the worst possible matchup for the Dallas Cowboys, but I think the Dallas Cowboys match up better against the rest of the NFC and the rest of the NFC East
and by the
than
way,
the Giants do right now.
Let's not sleep on the Eagles because the Eagles got better, and let's not forget that when Lane Johnson was in the game when he wasn't suspended. That was a nearly elite team last year. You can question the quality of opposition, but when you look at the point differential and all that, they were elite or next thing to it, a defense that was trending in that direction. And when Johnson came back at the end of the year, they started winning again. So that team, and then they just got better in the offseason, giving Carson Wentz a real weapon at receiver. And they're a terrible matchup for the Giants every year, it seems. And they beat the Cowboys late, though the Cowboys didn't have a lot to play for. You can't sleep on the Eagles.
The thing about the Eagles as well, it's about play calling, right? Does Doug Peterson do the right thing with Carson Wentz? You add Torrey Smith, you add Alshon Jeffrey. You have to find a back in the draft, and I think that's something they'll do. In the airport this week, I'm getting on the plane. Leonard Fournette's getting on the plane to Philadelphia, so it seems like they may be trending in that way.
Real quick question, Ryan, just to end this segment. Who did you pick in the playoffs between Green Bay and Dallas?
Oh, I can't remember, Stephen.
Oh, you can't remember, huh? It wasn't the Dallas Cowboys?
I can't remember.
Dallas Cowboys? I'm just checking.
Molly, this is a great segment.
I'm just asking
good segment, Molly.
I just want to know. I just want to know why you can't answer the question. What, you scared? You scared to answer the question? You scared? I mean, you can't tell us who you picked?
I don't remember.
You don't recall?
I don't recall.
You don't recollect?
The Dallas Cowboys.
You really?
All right.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Listen, Stephen A is the only one making sense this morning. That's all I know. Giants with the slight edge. Do enjoy the suit, though, and we'll see you on NFL Live later.
Him?
Nice face. Ryan, thank you so much. Coming up, Steph Curry